What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast, episode 3. I'm your host, Spencer.
And I'm Jared.
And let's get this shit started.
Let's go.
Nothing.
So, Jared, tell me about your week. What happened?
Nothing much, really. It's a normal week. School, the gym, always work. This week, actually, I had to go to a museum for an art history class. I'm not taking it. It's not my choice to take it, but I need the requirement. And this was some bullshit.
Tell us about it.
This was the most... We had a tour guide for our whole class, and the whole time, she's reading off some note cards. So she doesn't even know. Just some old bat. It's taking her, forever to get through these pieces.
Wait, stop. Some old bat. Who the fuck says that? Some old bat.
He was just some old bat.
He or she? Or it?
I'm not going to assume her gender.
Okay, yeah. Don't.
Even though I said her.
Don't.
So I'm not assuming
the old bat.
The old bat's gender. But it seemed like she knew very little about what she was giving us a tour on. Seemed like she's been working there for a while, though. So she curves on this note card, and half the time she's reading off, have you ever been to a museum?
Yes.
So they have the little plaques under, we'll give you some brief history. She pretty much just reads off that. It was some bullshit. I was there for an hour and a half, and it was just so annoying. So unnecessary. I could have looked up all this shit online.
I want to know why you think she has been there for a while.
Because she's an old bat.
Just because she's an old bat? Because
fits in
the old bat is an old bat?
Yeah, she fits, or it fits in with... She fits in with the... she's your typical museum tour guide, Just old and worn down, I guess.
Did you get her number?
Yeah, I did. Of course I got a number.
I hope Amy's not listening to this.
Me too. How was your week, though?
Not bad. I went to Rhode Island yesterday, which was pretty lit.
Nice.
Yeah, we went down for Jared and I have a group of friends we call the High Council, and it's basically just a bunch of friends from high school, except for me, because I kind of just got married into this whole thing.
Yeah, totally.
But they grew up together. They all lived in the same town except for me. And we've been friends for almost 5 years now, which is
the
crazy.
group chat's been alive for 5 years. It's had, right now it probably has 18 members. We've had 3 that came in and out.
Yeah,
but
just some bad decisions that we
that's just shit that happens,
Yeah.
But it was Hunter's 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Hunter.
Yeah, happy birthday, Hunter. It was Jack Smith's 19th birthday. Happy birthday, Jack Smith.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Sad birthday, Jack Smith, because smack Jack Smith and E-Boy.
It's okay to say his last name because he's the most generic name out there.
Literally. Steal his identity. It's Jack Smith.
Stop. But, yeah, sadly I wasn't able to go down. I had work that night, but, exciting for Hunter. Hunter posted a video on his story hitting 225 benching.
Yep.
So that hyped me up enough. And
big news.
I had a new PR. I benched 225 just like Junto.
He had to show him up.
I want to be just like him. He's my
I want to be just like Hunter.
I want to be just like Hunter. This is what the whole podcast is about.
I want to be just like Hunter.
I think everybody wants to be just like Hunter. But, yeah, so you had a good time?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I got to experience virtual reality for the first time.
Oh, really?
I've never done that before, and it was insane.
It's an experience. I've done it a few times, and that, I remember when our friend Jaden first got his VR, that was, the ultimate experience. That was so much fun. We spent, hours playing that.
Well, I had no idea, what I was getting myself into until I started doing it. And I had Jake and Alex with me.
Yep.
We were talking beforehand about what I needed to do.
Yeah, Alex is big into VR. He loves that.
No, yeah. He's like, I'm going to set you up with an easy game. So I'm like, okay. We played this game by Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Sick game.
Yeah, I think
awesome.
I played that one too. That one's really fun.
It was quick. I went through it pretty quick because it was just a bunch of puzzles and then you figure out what to do. It was
not really a demo, but I think it was just a little thing they wanted to put out there, a little teaser.
Yeah. So they did that. I enjoyed that a lot. It came out awesome. And then I played the this game where it was basically just shooting these glass figures, and it everything moves when you move.
Oh, super hot.
Yeah.
And it time speeds up with the faster you move. That game is super fun.
So
hence the name Super Hot.
I was playing that. I was on the ground. I punched the wall. I'm ducking from bullets. I'm just trying to not get hit, and I slammed my head into the wall. I'm like, what the fuck? and they're just laughing at me. I
Yeah.
can't hear them.
Yeah, because you have the headphones on.
Yeah, so I'm just going in, and it was so much fun though. And I get up, I'm like,
Out of breath.
I was like, this is a workout. I was like, I just need to do this more often. It worked me up so much I had to poop. So
Oh god.
you know, destroyed their bathroom.
VR's crazy because like you probably totally understand this now. You're playing a game, but you're so into it, it feels so real.
Yeah, it really messed me up afterwards. Like I didn't know where I was. So, and that's kind of like a thing I always like want to be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah,
just,
totally.
It's a firefighter instinct.
Yeah.
But with the VR headset, you really don't know where you are.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's a blue box that like grid that shows up when you're like outside the limits of the tripods that are set up with the sensors.
cameras.
Yeah, and that's nice. But how they have it set up is the blue wall is outside of a little bit past where the door is in the wall for the bathroom.
Yeah.
So if you go and punch somebody and you're like near the
Door.
VR wall, you're gonna hit the door like I did, and hit my head like I did.
There's a game, Arizona Sunshine, and I know Jaden had it when we first started using his VR, and that's like a whole like Walking Dead apocalypse, like zombie apocalypse game. That game is probably my favorite to play because I love the whole like apocalypse theme. I always thought it just like neat. I love watching like, even though everyone hates on it, I still watch The Walking Dead like casually, you know. But
Lame.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
I've like watched a couple episodes. Like I know Governor died.
It was kind of like, well, you just spoiled season 3 like 7 years ago.
Sorry guys.
But, it's kind of like one of those shows that I've been watching for so long. I just keep watching it, and I still enjoy it. I mean, I'm not crazy into it like I used to be.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch it with like Amy and her family on Monday nights. It gives me or Sunday nights. It gives me an excuse to bond with her family, and so her dad thinks I'm cool.
I'll never think you're cool.
I don't think so either. But this week, what I watched, which was amazing, and I told you to watch it, and I believe you did, was the Fyre Festival
Oh
documentary.
hell yeah, that was insane. I watched that. So I was waiting for Abby to get out of work, and it was my mom's birthday. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start it. And I took my mom out to dinner on Thursday.
I mean, movies are more important than your mom.
Well, yeah. So you say that.
Hopefully she's not watching this.
No, she doesn't even know. Well, she does now. She just is like, "Oh, you're going to go film your little podcast thing?" I'm like,
She doesn't sound like that.
Mom, it's not a little podcast thing. It's
Mom,
my life.
It's cool. I quit my job for this.
Yeah, right. So on Thursday, I was like, I'm just gonna start it because I got like a 45 minutes before I have to leave. So
Yeah, you got some time.
yeah, so I start watching it, and I did not realize how fast that 45 minutes went by because I was so into it.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I look at the time, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go, and I paused it. I came back and I watched the rest of it, and it was just insane. Like, one thing I want to know, which I didn't really explain, is what happened to Ja Rule? Like, did he go to
Okay,
jail?
let's quickly run this down for people who haven't watched it.
Yeah.
So the whole Fyre Festival, if you haven't heard of it, was supposed to be this big exclusive party, kind of like Coachella. It was supposed to be even bigger than Coachella.
Yeah.
The starting tickets, I think the cheapest ticket was like $2,500, and some of the tickets went up to like $250,000.
Yeah, to stay on a yacht.
Yeah, to stay on a yacht, and I think like they promised Kendall Jenner was gonna be on the yacht too. But so it's supposed to like take place on this private island. They'll fly you in privately. It was run by Billy McFarlane, I think that was his name, and Ja Rule.
Yeah.
If you don't, I knew very little about Ja Rule before.
I didn't even know he was a football player.
I didn't know that until right now.
Yeah, well, that's what it said in the beginning. He's a football player, and then it was like, then they didn't like talk about him as a football player. They just talked about him as Ja Rule, and I was like,
So
I'm trying to think of what songs Ja Rule even like is.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm just not that hip with all the
You're
music.
21. You're not an old bat like the museum tour guy. But so the whole thing is, they promised this amazing experience. They promised they'd fly you and you'd be staying. The cheapest one you'd be staying. I think it was supposed to take place like, how long was this festival supposed to be? Like a few nights?
It was 3 days. Yeah.
3 days. Okay. So you're gonna be staying in these like, they're promising these these fancy ass tents.
Yeah.
Which like they posted on their website the cheapest one of the tents, and they have like 2 really mint beds. They have like a nice inn. It's supposed to look really beautiful and have like this big like tropical experience. Then you could go up like buy a villa for you and your like 6 other friends.
Mm-hmm.
Then it could go all the way up to like the yacht party, shit like that. They promised all these crazy guests.
Well, the biggest thing was like
Blink 182. I think was supposed to be there.
well, the biggest thing was the whole Pablo Escobar. Like they bought an island from Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, so they bought this island from Pablo Escobar, and the funniest thing that I thought was it, not to cut you off, but like they talked to his lawyers and they said, okay, you could take this island and you can market it, but you cannot say it's from Pablo Escobar. The first ad they run, previously owned by Pablo Escobar.
And then they're like, all right, yep, we're taking it back now.
And literally, the whole thing that they did, which was so ridiculous, they thought they could plan this and have it executed in, I think, 6 months. And they were promising things they didn't even, like, they had an idea, promised it, sold it, and then they decided, okay, let's try to figure out how to get this idea going.
Yeah, that, like, the output, the great idea, poor execution. I thought that was insane, though. Like, I was watching the part where they were talking about the caterer and how it was going to be like $6 million.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, screw it. Like, we canceled the caterer last minute. They find a caterer. And then they're talking about how they put together a caterer for like $1 million. And then you like fast forward to like when people are on the island and they're taking pictures of it and it's like a cheese sandwich. That killed me.
So funny. It wasn't even a cheese sandwich, just 2 pieces of bread and a piece of cheese was on top of it. They didn't even make the sandwich.
Well, it was a
gourmet meal.
No, it was a, what do they call it? A fucking
like a lunch meal looking thing.
No, it was a decomposed sandwich. Not decomposed.
Oh, like
deconstructed.
Okay,
it was a
and you have to,
deconstructed cheese
Okay.
sandwich. That's what it was. It was a fancy cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
and it was Land O'Lakes cheese. Like disgusting.
I thought the funniest thing was they mentioned this in the documentary. It's on Netflix. There's another one on Hulu I want to watch. It's a little bit different from what I've heard.
From
But
the same Fyre Festival?
It's for the same. It's for Fyre Festival. There's so much about it that like Netflix
They made
and
2
Hulu.
documentaries.
Netflix and Hulu made different ones.
Damn.
But like, there's so much about it. There's more stuff in each documentary that isn't covered in the other. From what I've heard, I haven't really checked out the Hulu one yet. But they said how they've had the biggest thing was they wanted influencers to post about this.
Yeah.
So the first like photo shoot, they hired like it was a shit ton of like Instagram models and just like the top famous models. They're running on the beach, so it looks like they're super casual. So if someone bought a ticket without doing research, which no one really did, because if you did research, you realize this is a fucking scam.
Yeah, exactly.
It seemed like you'd be running around like with models and Ja Rule. You know, he was going to be there hanging out with you guys on some jet ski, you know, getting
Kendall Jenner.
And Kendall Jenner, all the famous people, like Blink 182, all that shit. But I thought the funniest thing was they said how people with millions of followers were posting all about this Fyre Festival, and a kid with like 58 followers took him down by just posting a picture of a cheese sandwich.
Dude, and that's insane. Also, what blew my mind was just the fact that like, who the fuck is going to a festival with Blink 182?
I saw there's the interview and the guy says, if you're paying like thousands of dollars for a Blink 182 concert, that's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I don't think I know one song by Blink 182. Like, and maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just not, hate on me. But I'm not a Blink 182 fan. I don't even like.
Yeah.
Who's listening to that? And
Who's
then who
still
else
listening to Blink 182?
But also, yeah.
We just offended like their whole demographic. We offended just 20 people right now. Their whole fan base.
We're screwed. Blink 182 is gonna DM us, be like, we want to be on your show to clear this up, and we're gonna say sorry.
No. Yeah, we have too many people coming up next.
Yeah, we're trying to get Post Malone on here, so
he's coming on next podcast, but he might cancel last minute, so he might not be on the podcast.
Yeah, it's possible. Like, we have him up on our guest list on the whiteboard back there. But
that's half like has like permanent marker written all over it
from fucking
Hunter.
Hunter when he was 12, writing up like a war movie up here.
Oh my God. So about Fyre Festival, so like fast forward, they're promising these crazy ideas, and instead of like keeping the hype down, like getting closer to the date when they know they cannot execute it, they just hype it up even more. They didn't even, so after the whole thing with the Pablo Escobar island, they kicked them off that island. I think they moved to another island, got kicked off that because they couldn't afford it. They didn't have any of this money. They were just like, they were lying to the investors. That was like one of the biggest things. So they finally get moved to, was it in the Bahamas?
Yeah, no, it was in the Bahamas.
So they get moved to this big island. The whole thing was supposed to be like an excluded island only for the festival. They get moved to a big island in the Bahamas, which is already like, it already like has a pretty like decent sized population. Like there are people living on the island.
Yeah, it was like a resort that they got like the corner of it that was under construction, and they just like basically dumped a bunch of money and put it all together and do it.
They dumped money they didn't have, and when they took a picture of the location in the Bahamas. They like cropped out the rest of the island so it still looks like an exclusive island.
Yeah, which is crazy. And I don't want to jump ahead, but like what really kind of got me was the ending of the whole thing, where like that one of the workers was like picked up the phone. He goes, "Oh, it's Billy."
Oh, like he calls him during the thing.
I'm
All right,
like,
we'll get to that though.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
you know,
bring that up. So
it just blowed my mind, man.
Yeah.
I was like, is this guy marketing like a scheme inside prison? Like, this guy is like crazy.
No, but so fast forward, like we'll like run back to that in a second, but I just want to like catch everyone up if you haven't watched it. So it gets to the point where the deadline's here, and they need water for obviously so people can survive. They're setting everyone up in these domes that they're supposed to make look all fancy, but it turns out they're from like a natural disaster. Like they're supposed to be like homes for people like who's
from
like,
some hurricane.
Yeah, from some hurricane. They're just reusing these natural disaster tents, trying to make them seem so luxurious. So fast forward, like it's about time for the Fyre Festival to take place, and they don't have water. They don't have enough money to like buy, like to pay the import tax for all the water. So one of the workers, so Billy calls up one of his friends who's been working on this whole step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You need to go down there. You need to suck his dick,
dude,
to get this water." That blew my mind.
That was insane. He was like, and I was prepared.
He said,
went home. I took a shower. I
mouthwash.
I'm like, what?
I've sitting there. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it blew my mind.
He's taking one for the team. And hey, if you are like that dedicated to this guy, if he's got to be some type of guy to convince you to suck some dude off.
This guy said that he's been following Billy since he was young. Like he really believed in his business model.
I mean, like, and he had some other stuff beforehand. Like he had that credit card business
that was just like a
metal credit card,
credit card, but it turned out being like a big scam, like the rest of his schemes.
You didn't even get all the things that they talked about doing.
So did you watch when they landed? Like you watched the whole thing. You watched when they landed. So tell them about the school buses. That's the funniest. That made me laugh so hard.
They get off these planes, which are they're like big, talking them up like they're these private jets. Like they were thinking they were getting on these puddle jumpers, like this all exclusive, like 2 people flights, like to
really exclusive.
Yeah,
that was the
super
whole big thing.
private
It's supposed
jets.
to be exclusive.
So you're getting on a super private jet, and it's basically like a Boeing 747 with everybody sitting in coach. Like everybody's riding coach, and everybody's cramped up. Like
people
they show
paid
the flight.
thousands of dollars to go to this festival.
Some people paid $250,000, and then a little bit before that, they even like came up with these RFID wristbands. We're like jumping all over the place.
Yeah, we are. It's
who gives
okay.
a fuck? They come up with these RFID wristbands, and they're like to load money onto. This was like a last minute thing for them to get more money.
Yeah.
So they're like, people are like hitting up these guys like, hey, last minute chance, put some money on your wristband so that you don't run out of money when you're here. Blah blah blah. And kids were putting like $80,000.
And if I'm not mistaken, they tried saying like it was a one-time payment. You pay for your ticket and everything's included.
Yeah, and then
until the end when they break out these wristbands. Kids are. I remember one guy got an email. Oh, I saw you only loaded like $3,000 on your card. People are loading much more than that.
Yeah, that's insane. So they pay all this money for the trip. Then they pay all this money for the wristbands, and they are just going insane. Like they get off this plane, and then a bunch of school buses show up, and the school buses are like, all right, we're gonna take you to your location, and they, instead of taking them to the resort or to the festival because it was not ready yet, they take all these people to a bar like that this lady runs, and she's like super overwhelmed.
She's a super nice woman. They just completely take advantage of her.
Yeah.
It seemed like Billy didn't have any remorse.
Oh, absolutely not. And like she, at the end, I saw she said like she lost like $50,000
of her savings too,
of
which
her money
in the Bahamas is a lot of money. To
anywhere, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
to
I know, but
not anywhere, but I mean, like that's a lot of money for you. Like she saved all that money up herself to live.
She ran this business.
Yeah, and she was like, that was $50,000 of her money. Like,
and she was like starting to tear up at the end.
Yeah, she was all upset. It was really sad. I felt bad for her, but too, it was like, and it sucks. And he got 5 years in jail. That's it.
So we'll go back
to
when he goes to jail. So They finally catch him. Fire Festival happens. People get shipped there. They go on these buses. They get brought to they get brought to the bar, like you were saying. And so they're trying to find they just need time at this point.
Yeah.
They're trying to get any time. They're working they employed half of the island pretty much to work for them. Obviously those guys didn't get paid. Like half of them didn't even get paid. So these people are already in poverty. They didn't get paid for their work. Excuse me. But so once they leave the bar, they finally get to the campsites. And the night before, it poured. So everything's soaked. It's straight up like an apocalypse there.
Yeah.
People are trying to survive. They bring everyone's luggage on a shipping, a 16-wheeler, and whip it out of the truck into this mob of people. So half the people weren't even getting their luggage. The rest of the other people, they're trying to find any dry spots for them to stay. They don't have individually marked tents. It's go find your tent.
Yeah, Billy stands up on the thing. He's like, just find a place to sleep. We'll figure it out.
All the mattresses are soaked. There's water pouring everywhere.
It's crazy. And the other side of it, I was just thinking about it. If these kids can afford these crazy ass expensive tickets, just think about how much money their luggage is and everything like that. And you're just whipping it off a 16-wheeler. It's nothing. I'm sure these people are just throwing down thousands of dollars worth of
designer clothes,
clothes, luggage, bags,
and
jewelry,
these kids that
all this stuff
paid for the Fyre Festival actually put out the money. They're used to 5-star hotels.
Yeah, exactly. And it was advertised as such, so you would expect all that.
They were expecting all of it, and they had the right to expect it because they lied about it.
Exactly. But when you were talking about the everybody go find a tent, I thought the craziest thing was that they were starting to. One person was grabbing all the pillows. One person had 15 mattresses.
Yeah, towels. Yeah, and they're hoarding it.
Yeah, and then there was a bunch of people that didn't have anywhere to sleep.
And some people even lost their friends. Remember that one woman came in and she was like, "I can't find my friend. Someone has to tell me." And the guy's like, "There's literally nothing we could do to help her. Yeah, it was just chaos."
And they were talking about all the mosquitoes and everything before everybody showed up. They were like I don't know how we're gonna be people are gonna be able to live out here. We slept in a tent and it was terrible.
The worst thing ever.
Yeah, and that's just crazy. I feel that sucks. I feel bad for all those people that had to go through that, especially because I think both of us have probably camped in worse situations,
totally.
But we weren't stuck on an island
with no way of getting home.
Yeah, exactly. Our situations were a lot different. We camped and there maybe it was raining and crazy out, but
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, we were able to get in our car and leave if we really wanted to. And these guys are I gotta get on a plane and fly back to Florida to get there. But and the other thing was when they said they officially canceled it, everybody had to go back to Florida and they locked him into the airport.
Oh yeah, so they wouldn't leave.
Yeah, and I was just surprised that nobody got killed.
Or nobody got trampled.
Nobody
that's what
died
I was
at
expecting.
Fyre Festival, which was crazy.
I mean, that's Billy's biggest achievement.
Yeah,
that's the one thing he could be proud of.
That's a success.
Because finally,
nobody died.
Yeah, because finally after they canceled it, that's when everyone started suing Billy for the lies and everything like that.
Yeah,
I feel like Ja Rule wasn't taking a hit on this when he was equally as part of it.
That's what I'm saying. I want to know what happened to Ja Rule. I want to know if he, and I didn't do any other research after, which I probably should have.
Yeah,
but I want to know if he made it past this whole situation. If he's still,
I looked at his Instagram, after I watched it, and he's still posting. That's crazy. People are still following and liking his shit even after he did all that. I thought that was ridiculous.
Well, it's just weird because I don't know, you don't know how. I think it just made him even more popular. At this point.
You know what I mean? Any publicity is good publicity.
Now he's gonna be releasing a hot new track because
because
now he's back up in the game.
He rules. Dude.
Yeah.
Ja Rule rules.
It's literally in his name. Ja motherfucking Rule.
That's his middle name. It just only his friends know it, so only me and Spencer really know it.
Yeah, he'll be on the podcast next week.
But probably don't. You could count on it. Just he might cancel last minute.
Post said he was coming, so we're trying to trying to work it out. Maybe we'll film to him one day, but we don't want you guys to see us in the same clothes. So I don't know. We're gonna figure it out.
We'll figure something out.
But
but what was even crazier about Billy, which I thought was this man has no remorse. Like I said earlier, he has no conscience. Because after he got sentenced, or he was he was going through the trial, he got set out on bail, made bail. He met up with a bunch of his friends, called one of his friends, and goes, "I have another idea. You need to be the face of the company. I'm under some heat. Out on bail, this man calls one of his friends and starts up another scam. He's selling tickets to like the Emmys or the Golden Globes, which you are only invited to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's emailing everybody who went to Fyre Festival because he knows they have money. They have enough money to buy a ticket to Fyre Festival. They could buy a ticket to like the Golden Globes or something like that. And they're trying to sell. He's trying to scam even more people. He just isn't learning from his actions. So finally, I think he gets 5 to 7 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And they order him that he can no longer be like a director or CEO of a company.
Yeah.
Which I think is I think it's a great rule for him because he's just one fucked up dude.
It's just insane. Like, maybe I don't know if I missed it or if they had anything about it, but I'm just keep going back to the Ja Rule thing. Like, I really just don't know like what happened to him. Like, I really want to know if he was around or what the deal is.
I mean, we could just look that up too.
We're gonna do that. Like,
yeah.
We'll follow back up
after this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have a
once it uploads on Wednesday, we're gonna tweet something out. Probably.
Well, I mean, when Ja Rule comes next week, we could talk about it.
Well, exclusive interview with Ja Rule.
We might not even post it. It might just be for us.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it private.
That's probably gonna meet a lot of our like. We'll talk about meeting up with these celebrities. It's true. Like, you don't need to. It's true.
Yeah, just don't fact check it.
Don't fact check it. I mean, that's just take our word for it. It's true.
Yeah, and like once we get to like 1 million subs and listeners, maybe we'll upload them. Maybe
It is happening though.
Don't count on that.
Don't count on that. Please don't hold us accountable for that. But so let's move past Fyre Festival. A huge thing that happened that I thought was actually kind of hilarious. I was talking to you about it before, but it seems like you don't go on Twitter unless it's to post about our podcast.
I'm like all about the All About Nothing podcast. So if you guys are checking out all the tweets, that's me, and all the Instagram posts, that's Jared. So, talk to us because we love you.
So a couple days ago was Steve Irwin, I believe it was his 57th. It would have been like his 50th birthday or something like that.
Dude, which is crazy.
I grew up with Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
He was like my biggest influence. I remember like before
Steve
school. Irwin. Did I say Ern?
Steve Ern.
Steve
Ern. Yeah, hang out, Steve Ern.
But he was like my biggest influence when I was younger. I'd always watch his TV shows, The Crocodile Hunter. I loved it. It made me like more into the outdoors. Shut up.
Dude, let me tell you something. Okay, if Dog the Bounty Hunter was not your
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I grew up on Dog, and that's who I wanted to be. I was like, I'm going to be that guy.
You're going to be
I'm the dog, the main dude.
With the golden locks flowing when he like does combat rolls and like chases people. But
I was the dog.
Steve Irwin. Is that good? Is that good enough for you? Steve Irwin. He was a huge, like, everybody loved him. He was just one of probably the biggest influence, like, in the conservation field.
Mm-hmm.
Just like conserving and like saving these animals, saving the forest, everything like that. So he passed away. Everyone's sad about it. Everyone's talk like kind of reminiscing on like who he was, like how great of a person he was. I follow his son on like Twitter or something. He's on Jimmy Fallon, something like that. Just like,
I did see that.
I mean, the family is still like living up to his legacy. They have their own zoo. They're saving animals like left and right. They're a great family. I love the Irwins. Is that good too? And the Irwins. But PETA decides to tweet out like, oh, people shouldn't be glorifying Steve Irwin. He went into like the wildlife's like habitat, wrestled these alligators, did all this shit, like bothering animals. And everyone just blew up on PETA. I don't believe I think and a lot of the tweets said this too. They like try to put any word out. Like they don't care if people are angry. Kind of like any publicity is good publicity.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they don't care if they're putting out like angry shit and mean shit. They just want like the attention because literally they do nothing for the animals. I saw another tweet. I don't know if it's true. Don't quote me on this, but they said they euthanize like a shit ton of the animals they rescue because they don't have the room to like keep them. Yeah, because they don't get funding because no one really believes in their cause. I believe in like saving these animals, saving the forest, all that shit. I totally agree with that. But they're doing it in the wrong way. They're aggressive about it. That's disgusting.
Here's the thing. It's like you get a lot of people who get angry, right? And they want everybody to follow what they believe, and that's cool. But like you can't do things. It's not cool that you do it aggressively. Like if you're passionate about something, it's one thing. But like to be just some person that's gonna like attack people, or I remember they had like a big rally at like some aquariums because they were getting all pissed off because of the whales, and they're like they don't want people going to the big one, SeaWorld in Florida.
Yeah. SeaWorld does kind of treat its animals fucked up.
And they exposed them, and like they do all the stuff, and like it's good stuff to get information out to these people, but it's not fair to like just go up to random people and be like, oh,
dump buckets of blood on them.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was gonna say I didn't know if that was PETA or not, but there was some like crazy thing.
Yeah.
PETA does some crazy stuff. They do some crazy stuff, and people that are involved with them, it's like
they're angry.
Yeah, it's like why be so angry about it? Like if you want to change people, it's don't be so aggressive. If you want to change people, go at it in a positive aspect.
Totally agree.
Try to change things in a positive manner, because you're not gonna ever get anywhere by being aggressive with people. They're just gonna be pissed off and hate you.
Because okay, I think it's a great idea for them to go around. Like I know SeaWorld, there's a lot of controversy around them because they're like treating the whales wrong, like you said earlier. They're treating a lot of their animals wrong. They're making them do tricks when like it's like torture pretty much.
Yeah.
But go investigate and present the public with your facts. Don't be angry if someone doesn't agree with you. Yeah, that's the whole thing with like debates. Instead of getting furious with each other, why not listen to what each other's views are and like kind of change yours or mold yours to a view that you could like agree on.
Exactly. Well,
that's wrong. That's the thing with politics too. I don't want to get into that, but that's why everything's at a standstill. Everyone just gets fucking angry.
See, and like I grew up watching Steve Irwin too. My
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Well, I did. Trust me, I watched plenty of Dog. My grandma like was in love with Steve Irwin. Like she was so devastated when he died.
Oh, that was huge. That was sad.
Yeah, it was sad. Like I was sad for her. Like
not even for him. You're sad.
I was sad for his
grandma
family, but like I was
the love
sad
of her life.
I was just so sad for my grandma. Like she was just so upset. And I didn't know what to, like, I was just like, wow, like, he died. That's crazy. But if Dog died, that would be, like, devastation for me, you know?
If Dog dies, we riot. The first round of merch coming out.
We're going to Hawaii.
Dog the Bounty Hunter dies, we riot.
Who's
responsible for this? We only wear wigs. I'll grow my hair out diet blonde. You do the same.
Yep.
And we'll just carry on tasers with us. Leather jackets, too.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You got to do it the dog way.
Or the bulletproof vest, you know.
What a man. Honestly, I'm trying to think of, like, the episodes. It was always him just over-exaggerating, just freaking the fuck out.
Dude, he was the man. He was literally the man. Like, name a better guy than Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Steve Irwin.
Okay, name another.
Steve Irwin's son. Let me keep going.
I want
the Irwin family.
Oldish. All right. Here's my question is, I think we should start a segment on here called Ask Pierre. Pierre is Jared's father.
Very opinionated man.
If you guys didn't know. So I want to know what Pierre thinks about
Dog
this
the
whole...
Bounty Hunter.
No. The Steve Irwin Twitter beef. I mean, he doesn't. I know he doesn't follow.
He
Twitter.
doesn't know how to work technology really that well. Like he does, but like he doesn't understand social media. Always be like, he just got an Instagram.
Did he?
Yeah, he did just get an Instagram. He only follows like 5 people. He gets mad at me. Yeah, give him a follow. Be like, because he doesn't want people intruding in on his privacy.
Should we drop this?
No. No,
that'd be a bad movie. He would hate us.
He'd destroy his phone probably.
Just deleting the account. He'd be like, fuck this. I'm breaking my phone. He's like, I'm going off the grid.
He'd love that. That's like his dream to live in like Tennessee and go off the grid. I'm not. I shit you not.
I know. He's talked about it with me before. He's going to grab all his guns, put them on the quad, and just set off. And he's going to grab like 3 tanks of gas with him.
he went to a game dinner last night, and he came back home, and one of his friends got him a T-shirt. And you saw the picture,
Yeah,
right?
I saw the
It says Trump like 2020, and that says "fuck your feelings." He was so proud of his T-shirt.
And the smile on this man's face was incredible. And I'm telling you, like, it's a good thing we don't have here on the show. But he's, we love the guy. He's a great guy.
Of course.
He's just a class act. But yeah, no, I didn't know anything about this Twitter beef with Steve Irwin, and
Well, it's pretty much PETA and then everybody else on Twitter.
well, yeah, PETA versus all Steve Irwin fans and
Everybody.
also everybody else in
Which
the
is
world.
pretty much what PETA is. They're always angry at everybody.
But it's just crazy because I don't know. I guess I'm not really that into social media besides.
The All About Nothing podcast. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube,
Stitcher.
iTunes. No one
iTunes.
listens to Stitcher.
Well, we're up
Unless
there.
Stitcher wants to,
We're up there.
we have an ad spot on Stitcher if they want to give us an ad.
Yeah, well, we're taking ad spots now.
Yeah.
We're already sellouts. It's our third episode. We're a bunch of sellouts. So yeah, contact us. No, but it goes back to last week, and this actually, I wanted to talk about this. So I was talking with some people at work, and that listened to the podcast, and they had some feedback, and we were talking about social media and like kids not going outside anymore and all this shit. And a guy at work was like, something, it's funny getting this perspective from two young guys who don't have children, because I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, if you could just have, like, you guys have all this time to do whatever you want whenever you want to. But when I get home, I have a kid, and it takes, like, for me to do something for 30 minutes would require me to either give him the iPad or put him out, like, put TV on for 30 minutes.
Yep.
So I know that he's going to be distracted for that whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, I get it.
And I was like, I didn't really think about that
No, me neither.
until you said something, because it's a good point.
Believe it or not, but me and Spencer aren't parents.
I know,
So we
surprisingly.
don't know what the fuck to do.
Surprisingly. But it's just crazy because I was talking to a woman at work that has 2 kids, and she was saying the same thing. She's like, yeah, you guys have no idea like how hard it is to just get like a few minutes, like, because for us to go outside, they also have way younger kids, like toddlers, 2 years old, and the stories we were talking about going outside and playing was when we were 5, 6, 7 to 10.
Yeah.
Where we
had
were
some
kind of
independency.
Yeah, we were able to kind of go outside and be in our yard, and also the world was just such a different place then too, where like we could go outside and our parents didn't have to be like watching us every 2 seconds, because it's just so much stuff's going on in the world, and it's crazy. But yeah, they were just saying, and I thought I should bring that back up because it's a really good point. We don't understand that side of it, so it's really good to get feedback from other people, and I'm super hyped that we're getting that.
Yeah, I love getting feedback from everyone. If it's negative, I hate you, I'm gonna say. If it's positive, yeah, I love you.
Well, we don't hate anybody, because that's we're safe people, we're sensitive. We
Don't hurt our feelings.
please don't hurt our feelings. But yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up, and then we were talking about me being in Rhode Island and with the boys, and you said you had a good story about Mr.
Actually,
Jack Smith.
Well, we can't keep saying his full name.
I only talk about Jack Smith. Like, I don't just call him Jack.
It's weird.
Because we have another friend named Jack, so I call him Jack, and then Jack Smith is just Jack Smith.
Actually, Jack Smith, fun fact about him, he made our intro.
Yes.
It's Prod Chip on SoundCloud. He makes really cool beats. He's starting to rap a little bit,
Yeah, shout out to Prod Chip, at Prod Chip on SoundCloud. Also, at C_H_I_P on SoundCloud for his rap stuff.
Okay.
So check that out. Yeah, I don't know. I just saw it. I was like, wow, who the fuck puts this down? But I don't know.
But my first quick story, Hunter told me this, and he's down Rhode Island too. I don't know if it's true. So if it's not, it's all Hunter's fault. He'll be held responsible.
Hunter's
if
a
it-
pretty,
If it's not true, I'm going to give out his address. I'll find his social security number or something like that, give it out on the next podcast so you guys can go find him.
Yeah. Hunter's a pretty reputable guy, so
He
I would
is,
take
so-
I take everything he says. Like, if he told me, like, you wouldn't die from getting shot, I'd probably believe him.
Same.
Maybe, because he's pretty
He is.
reputable.
So the story is called The Phantom Pooper. It's written up on our whiteboard right now, and I just keep looking at it and laughing. So I'm gonna try to run down the story so I don't keep laughing. So I don't know if this is true with our high school, excuse me, but I guess like when me and Hunter were probably in like 4th grade, this was happening in the high school, or this happened years ago. It was way before our time. In the old high school, before they had cameras, they just kept finding poop in the hallways. Just someone was taking a shit, and then it got pretty popular because poop in the hallways, that's funny as fuck, especially to high schoolers. And they gave him the name the Phantom Pooper. So this man was going around, it happened like once a week, and he'd just take a shit in the hallway, and nobody knew who it was. He didn't tell a single soul. So for the next like for the whole year, there's just poop showing up in the hallways, and every time they'd like try to catch him, he like change where he'd poop, or he just like, I know when they put up cameras, from the story Hunter told me, he'd poop under the camera, like, so the camera would be facing towards the hallway, and he'd poop right under it, so the camera couldn't find him. And I guess it was just some big fiasco with the Phantom Pooper. I thought that was just a really fucking funny story.
That's really fucked up.
And you going to see Hunter, whenever I see Hunter, for some reason I just think of this story because it's just so damn funny.
We did a lot of stuff yesterday. So on my way to
Rub it
Rhode
in my
Island-
face a little bit. How I was at work doing nothing, and then tell me more.
Well, yeah, you could, that's all your fault. I told you to just skip. I said, just tell your boss you were sick. You got the clap, and you can't come in.
So I told my boss how he's a really nice guy, and I told him how, oh yeah, me and my friends are going down to Rhode Island tomorrow. I can't because like I have work. So I told him Friday we were going down Saturday, and he's starting to talk. He's thinking. He goes, you know what? And in my head I'm like, fuck yes, I did. I like planted this seed. He's gonna let me. He goes, you know what? To make it worth it, you could just come in an hour early. I was like, okay.
I thought that was really scummy of him because wasn't he working like an hour before you? Like, wasn't he working? That day?
He worked all morning, so like
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like I closed for him.
No, I think that's super scummy of him because
He's a nice guy.
No, think about it like this, okay? And maybe he is a nice guy, but
And I needed to get my hours in. I'm just trying to I just finished training probably like a couple weeks ago, and we lost another employee, so it's like I need to pick up some slack.
He's gonna start giving you more hours. It's cool, whatever. But listen, he works in the morning, right? There's only one person working.
Yeah.
When you're there, and this guy fucking
No, when
tells you he works all morning, and then he tells you, hey, how about you come in an hour early so you can relieve me of my duties?
No,
an hour early,
he was
and
trying to
I'm
get
gonna
me
go
more
home
money.
and go fuck off.
No,
bullshit.
because he stayed the whole time. He's trying to get me more money. He's a nice guy. I'm not trying to get fired. But
okay, no, he's probably a nice
no,
guy.
he's a super
but I'm
nice
just
dude.
saying.
But yeah, it was fine. I just thought that was so like ironic. I was so sad.
I was just looking at it like I was talking to Jake about this yesterday. But so I'm driving to go pick up our buddy
Jacob.
Jake, who goes to college like an hour away from us. So I go pick him up. He sends me his address, and I'm like, okay. He doesn't put the town in, so I click on it, and it's like, oh, it's only 5 minutes past like the school where he said.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. I was like, okay, I'll be there in like 25 minutes, no problem. So I'm on my way past the school. I'm like, okay, like, is it over here? Because I'm like, I don't know if he lives off campus or not. He didn't tell me. So I'm driving right past the
You
school.
FaceTimed me like in a panic too.
No, you
Or no, I
called
called
me.
you, and you're like, I don't know where I'm going.
No. So
Spencer was crying on camera.
no, I
He
wasn't.
cried for 5 minutes on FaceTime. I had to calm him down. Like, Spencer, collect yourself.
Fuck you.
Do you know who'd be disappointed in you?
Who?
Dog the bounty
No,
hunter. That's not a. You're a cat bounty hunter now.
Anyways, so I'm like turning past the school, and I see the town line for another town. I'm like, I don't know if this is right or not. So I get a FaceTime call from our buddy Hunter. he's talking to me about his watch that he got from Walmart. He's like, dude, this thing's not, it's too big. Can you change the links out of the watch? And I'm like,
that's the most Hunter thing. Hunter is big on like, if one like mistake happens, he's gonna set that like top priority. Spencer's searching for our friend to go see Hunter for his birthday. He goes, "Hey, Spence, can you remove 2 watch links for me?"
he's like, can we just get this like these couple links off? Because like I really want to wear this watch. I got it. My mom got it for me. Like, and also like cool thing about Hunter is he's not like a materialistic guy,
No.
and he's a really super hard worker. And I think this episode's just like gonna be titled all about Hunter because we've been talking about him a lot. But
We talk about him every episode. I think
we do. We're all obsessed.
we'll have
with
him
Hunter.
on an episode.
We're gonna get
He'd
a
love
picture
that.
right up here of just Hunter.
That'd be actually so damn funny.
But so Hunter is not like a materialistic guy. He doesn't care. He just he just wanted to watch so he could tell time. So his
Is that what you do with it?
what? So his mom goes and gets him a watch from Walmart, and he was like, he was gonna just go get it himself, but she's just like, oh, I'll go get it. Like, Jody's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, she is.
so he's trying to put this watch on, and it's like dangling off his
Yeah.
arm. He's FaceTiming me like with it dangling on his arm. He's like
Spencer, see, do you see this?
He's like, can we just remove 2 links? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll do it when I get there. And long story short, I end up buying him a new watch. I was just so pissed off. And I took that watch home.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So
So
go back
Jody,
to Jacob.
so Jody
We're
bought me
trying
a
to
watch.
find Jacob.
so Hunter's FaceTiming me. And
Was that after my FaceTime?
no, before. So
Okay.
he's FaceTiming me, and I'm like, all right, yeah, Hunter, I'll help you figure out whatever. And then I'm like, I'll see you soon, bye. And then you were FaceTiming me, so I instantly pick up from there. And
Because I'm better
like,
than Hunter.
and I'm like on all these like
Back roads.
these side streets. I'm just trying to figure out where the hell I am. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck town I'm in anymore.
You're dealing with like with podcast problems, watch problems. You just want to find Jacob.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't even know what you called me about. You just called me to call me.
I don't think I had a reason to call you.
You just wanted to see how I was doing.
Yeah.
I think we do FaceTime like every day. It's a thing. You know what's crazy is we FaceTime every day, and like every Sunday you come over and we're like, okay, what are we gonna talk about this week? we're not like FaceTiming about the podcast. We're just some things we're just talking about like our social media and our views and stuff, but it's mostly like, hey, what's going on? Okay, ciao. Ciao. That's my new thing now because that's all you say is ciao.
Ciao.
So I say that to everybody now.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah, it's something Jacob actually got me to start saying ciao. Speaking of Jacob, I have a really funny story. It deals with Jacob, Jack.
All right,
Jack.
we'll get there because
All right.
I'm still on this whole FaceTime thing. So
Okay.
I'm like yelling at you like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going, and I end up on this bridge and it says you've arrived.
Jacob's
I'm
living under the bridge. He doesn't even go to school there. He's
I'm
a
like-
hobo now.
I'm like, dude, does he live off campus? And you're like, no, he lives on campus. I'm like, I just drove past the school 5 minutes ago. So I'm like, fuck. I turn around. He's like, call Jacob and then figure it out and call me back. I'm like, all right. So I call Jacob and I'm like, Jacob, do you live in this white house like on the bridge?
You're peering through the window. Some family's there. Jacob, do you live with the family?
There was just like a boat outside and a dumpster, and I was like, I was a little concerned. Like, are you living in the boat, Jacob?
Or the dumpster?
Possibly the dumpster under the bridge. So Jake's like, no, I live on campus. He's like, it took you, like, it always happens to me. So he sent me his address. I get to him, wasted like 10 minutes trying to figure that out. And then we're driving on our way back, or on our way to Rhode Island. And I'm thinking about this. I'm like, I probably should like text Hunter to verify that we're going to the right
Yeah.
location, because there's a couple different addresses in Rhode Island, like same address. So I'm like, okay. So I text him. I'm like, hey, just making sure this is the right town, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, great, because that's not where I'm going. So I changed the map really quick. We get going and we're all set. But it turned into just like an extra 20-25 minutes of not necessary.
Just some bullshit.
Yeah. I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going. But
That's what always happens on road trips.
yeah, it was, and then we end up getting there. talking to Hunter about his watch. And we're like trying to get this thing going. I'm like, dude, this is a Walmart watch. What are we doing? Like, it's not coming out. Like, we're gonna break this thing before.
If you bring it to them, I'm pretty sure they'll take the links out.
No, this Walmart was insane. I've never been to a super Walmart before, where it's like a grocery store and everything.
They're pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was wild, and there was like not like a real jewelry section. It was just like
a section
watches,
for watches
and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, you know what, Hunter? We'll take a 20-minute ride because we had to get stuff for all these people coming over. They're like, we'll just go check it out. So we get to Walmart. I'm like, how about instead of getting like a watch with links, you get like a leather watch? Because like I was like, get whatever you want. I don't really care. But I was like, we're not gonna be able to get this. It's like let's just take our lessons learned here and just get the leather watch. So he gets this leather watch. And he's like, you don't need to buy me a watch. So now what I'm thinking is...
Hunter's very humble.
Yeah, he's a super, like, just all-around great guy. And I met his lady, too, by the way. And I don't give a shit.
Bring that up.
No, it's announced. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Are they like official?
Nah, I don't know if they're dating or not, but she's a sweetheart. She's a super nice girl. Okay. Like, she was
Hunter's
super
friend.
cool.
We'll call her Hunter's friend.
Yeah, and I don't know. She was cool. Like, I told her I had to poop. Like, I didn't tell her directly, but I told Hunter after the whole VR thing. Like, she was right there.
So you got worked up, had to poop, like, before the podcast that just happened.
Same. Yeah. But I ate cheese.
Spencer's also lactose intolerant. But, so.
That's another story.
Amy's lactose intolerant, and Amy's my girlfriend. She's really, like, picky. Like, if she eats cheese, it'll just, like, destroy her system. Everything like that. She gets super sick. And I didn't know Spencer was lactose intolerant until probably like last year, but I've been cheese shopping with Spencer, so he just does not give a shit about being lactose intolerant.
All right, so quick shout out to at Abby Does Everything Vegan, my girlfriend, YouTube, check her out. We did a challenge, mac and cheese cook-off.
Yeah.
And we were just talking shit about PETA, and then we were talking about my vegan girlfriend.
It's okay. I'm just gonna bust and beat your ass.
Yeah, better keep quiet. So we do this competition. So I go out, and Jared and I are at the grocery store picking out cheeses, and
casual thing, pick out cheeses.
Yeah,
with my lactose intolerant friend.
But like I didn't tell him I was lactose intolerant, so maybe like. It had to been like 6 months after that whole situation. We were like talking about something, and I was like,
vacation.
Yeah, we were on vacation. That was it. And I was like, yeah, I'm lactose intolerant. and it was Abby's mom that said, yeah, Spencer's lactose intolerant. Like that's, and you're like, what?
That was like, that flipped my world like upside down. I laughed for like 30 minutes just because like I look back at all the times I've seen Spencer like devour ice cream, or I went cheese shopping. We've bought like 3 pounds of cheese.
It was 3 pounds of cheese. We got like Munster. We got
he knows the exact cheese. See,
we had Gouda.
He does not give a shit.
We had Gouda. We had like a 3 pepper cheese. It was really good. Yeah, that was insane. And I got heavy cream.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We got heavy cream for my mac and cheese, and then I lost the video, because the vegan mac and cheese was better, I guess.
Yeah.
I was all salty about that. But yeah, no. So anyways,
this I don't know how we got on the cheese.
Yeah,
stuff.
that was just
That was just like
that was about the poop. It was the poop.
Oh, it was the poop that brought the cheese.
Yeah.
I have a quick story that's really funny. It's about Jacob, all of our friends, like I mentioned earlier. If you're done with your story, I'll tell it real quick.
I'm done. I don't
All
even know where I left.
Cheese. That's all we talk.
Poop.
Poop and cheese. This is the second grader podcast. So,
with your host, Spencer and Dewey.
God. So I go down to Rhode Island with a bunch of our boys. We go down we usually try to go down like once a year. I drove down Spencer. No, not Spencer. I drove down. Yeah, you didn't show. I drove down like Jacob, Jack, and we take like my dad's Jeep with the windows down. It was great. The top off, everything. So we end up going to, I don't remember the exact town. I don't want to give it out. So for our billions of listeners to try to find me there, because, I get bombarded with people trying to take pictures of me. It's just what happens. So we go to this beach and we're walking up and down, and me, Jack Smith, and Jacob are like, oh, let's go see the Breachway. For anybody who doesn't know, a breachway is pretty much kind of like an inlet. It looks like a horseshoe in the sand. Like it's a huge horseshoe, like filled with water, and there's a mini island in the center. and it's a super strong current that will take you right out to sea. And like at the end of it, there's like an undertow that brings you to a bunch of rocks and shit.
And kills you.
And yeah, you'll straight up die if you just mess this up. So Jack Smith has a great idea. He goes, "Oh, let's swim across." And we're like, "What?" So he's like, "Yeah, let's swim across. It'll be fun to go to this little island." It's a super strong current, so we start really far down, like in the center of the current. So when it takes us out, we have time to get to the little like island. So we all go. I think Jack, our other friend Jack went. Then I think Jack Smith went. Then I went. We all make it, and then it's Jacob's turn. Jacob's he's a good swimmer, I guess. He's just like he's tall. He's lengthy. He's buff now, but he wasn't buff when he did this. So he goes in the water and starts swimming, and we're all watching him. And I look at I see his face, and I just see his body, and he is trying so hard to swim. He is giving it straight up his all, except instead of getting closer to the island, he just keeps getting he sits still. Like he's swimming in this water as hard as he can, sits still, and gets slowly brought out closer to sea. So I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, "Jacob, you gotta fucking swim." Everyone's yelling, "Jacob, swim," and he finally makes it across. But it was the scariest moment. I was trying not to laugh because I know how bad it was, but he is giving it straight up his all and just keeps getting brought out closer to sea. I was like, "This is it for Jacob. I'm gonna have to go back to his mom and be like, yeah, we lost your son to an undertow." Luckily, he made it. We got on the island. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth any of risking our lives. But
Fyre
I'd do it
Festival
again.
wasn't there.
Fyre Festival was not there. I bet it would be better if it was there though.
I bet you it would be pretty sick if you just showed up on an island and almost died like Jacob did, and then
There's a festival.
there's a full fucking festival going on with Blink-182.
No, Blink. Even at Fyre Festival, they dropped out.
They did drop out. But Fyre Festival's whack. We're not
Forget
doing
about
it.
Fyre Festival. If I went to Fyre Festival, was excited for all these artists, and Blink-182 dropped out, I'd be more excited.
Yeah, I feel like I would pay more money to not see Blink-182.
We're just shitting on Blink-182. We know
I don't
none
even
of
know
their
any
songs. That's how shitty they are.
If I don't know their songs, then they're obviously not good. If you're not Frank Sinatra, you're nothing to me. Or Post Malone. If you're not Frank Sinatra or Post Malone, you're nothing to me.
What about Ja Rule?
Well, Ja Rule's Ja Rule.
He does rule.
He does rule.
And he scams people, so that's even cooler.
Ja Rule ain't a fool.
Shut up. This is why we don't rap. This is why it's just a podcast of us bullshitting.
So we're all over the place today, but
We are.
I don't really care. To end my night, we drive back from
Rhode
Rhode
Island.
Island to Connecticut.
This is about Frank Sinatra, huh?
We're gonna get
I saw a video.
So it actually worked out pretty mint because Jacob was like, "Oh, don't drop me off back at school. Drop me off would you mind dropping me off at home?" And I was like, "Yes," because then I don't have to drive an hour back. Because he was halfway between Rhode Island and my house. So I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll drop you off at your house," because then it's only 10 minutes of me being in the car by myself. Which I don't really care because, just listening to podcasts.
Yeah, our podcast. All About Nothing podcast. Reachable on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube.
I wasn't listening to our podcast.
All right, guys, we're holding auditions for a new co-host.
No, I was listening to...
Big boy, bigger heart. Replace Spencer.
I did listen to it for a little bit on YouTube just to see how the...
Audio comes out.
Just want to make sure that it didn't change from...
So talk about, because we're running out of time. Talk about your night.
So I drop off Jacob, and Abby calls me, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, going home, to come see you. And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm out doing karaoke." And I was like, "Okay, bet, I'm going."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "All right, I'm
Great
going."
way to end your night, karaoke.
Yeah, sure. It's 10:45 at night. And I get there for 11. I get inside. First thing I do is I write down mine and Jared. Every time I always have a party at my house, Jared and I always end the night with Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. So I'm like, I text Jared. I'm like, "Jared, about to hit the song real quick. Is that cool?" He's like, "Do it."
He goes, "Yes or yes." So of course I go, "Hell yeah."
So I request it. I'm waiting for them to call me up. It starts to die down. People are starting to leave. And then
But
all of a
what's Frank
sudden,
Sinatra known for? Bringing it back.
bringing it fucking back.
I
So
just made that up, so I don't know if he's known for it, but
he's
he's at our
definitely
parties.
He's definitely known for it. So they call me up, and then everybody just comes back in. It was weird. So all these people just start coming back in. So I'm out there slaying it.
Yeah,
like
of
just
course.
destroying it.
Not as good as you do with me.
No, it would have definitely been better if we were both there doing it.
Yeah, of course.
But me killing it, just annihilated, like
Yes, of
natural
course.
domination. So
Like you got a record deal, if that's where we're leading.
like
to it.
actually, yeah. So I'm actually leaving the All About Nothing podcast.
So we do
'cause
need a new co-host.
we really do need to go.
Like I said, big boy, bigger heart.
Yep. So I was, just doing my thing, and my mom was there because like we all kind of like went out because it was her birthday.
Beautiful
the other
woman.
day. Sweetheart, great lady. And she's recording me saying this, and I'm like, oh, sick.
Gotta
I'm just
put
gonna
on a
keep going.
show.
I'm just gonna be super extra tonight, and then I'm like,
Just
I'm gonna
tonight?
Well, I
You're
do
the most
every
extra
night.
fucker I know.
Okay, that's kind of true. But I was just like, I'm gonna go super hard. So I got Abby with me. I'm like rocking back and forth singing, and she's recording me. I'm gonna send this to Jared later, and I kill it. I go hard at the end, and then I text Jared, nailed it.
I'm already asleep. It's probably like 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it was like 12:30, and it was like nailed it. And he didn't answer me until the morning. He goes, I knew you would. So that was pretty cool. And then got home at like 2 a.m, and yeah, that was
our week.
yeah,
That was
pretty
Spencer's week, my week, the Fyre Festival, Steve Irwin.
wild. That was the All About Nothing
Stop,
podcast.
this is ASMR.
Weekly,
But that is all the time we have today. If you made it towards the end, we love you.
yeah. Thanks a lot, because like it's just crazy now that this is like a normal thing of our schedule.
Mhm.
I love that
Me too.
I love that we're coming together every week just to get this done. It's good bonding for
It's fun
Jared
to
and
do.
I, and yeah, and it's just cool that all of our friends are supporting us, listening to us, and other people that we don't even know
Yeah.
are listening to us. And shout out to you guys, because like you don't have to be listening to us if you don't know us.
If you're our friends and you don't listen to us, like, we'll obviously be pissed.
Yeah, if you're our friends, you better be listening, 'cause, it's like an obligation.
Yeah, totally.
And-
So make sure. Oh, wait, what were you going to say?
And not just like the first and second episode. This is the third episode.
This is
like
third episode.
we're
of the
season
All About
1,
Nothing.
episode 3.
So, yeah, just make sure you follow us on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube,
iTunes,
Stitcher,
Stitcher.
and Instagram and Twitter for updates.
Hell yeah. Instagram and Twitter for updates. DM us. Tell us what you guys want to hear about. Tell us what the latest is, because I'm not current with social media. Jared's always the one doing that research. But if you guys want to hear something, you want to hear us talk about something, we'll do the research in advance. We'll
Tweet
get
at
it
Dog the
going.
Bounty Hunter.
Tweet-
Let's get him on.
If you guys can get Post Malone, Ja Rule, Dog the Bounty
Don't
Hunter,
want Ja Rule. That's a joke.
Travis Pastrana.
Travis Pastrana.
If you can get Nitro Circus on here, you guys are the shit.
We'll do a whole show in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, like,
We can fit a dirt bike in here.
Nitro Circus in the studio.
Oh, God. That's next week. Make sure you tune in.
Tune in
That's
next
it.
week, and you might not see it because it'll be super private. But
Peace.
peace. Wait, we gotta do that over again.
No, that's
3, 2, 1.
peace.